Hey guys, this is Michelle here, and sorry, I'm trying to like stabilize my arm so my phone doesn't fall. I'm here to provide information on a research question that I recently sent out. Um, it's been long overdue, and I'm sure some of y'all are really anticipating it. So here I am with the results and with a conclusion that I made from all the information that I gathered. And so, sorry if I'm shaking too much, y'all. I'm trying. So, for those of you who do not know, about 2 weeks ago, I asked, well, more like a week and a half ago, I asked a question that went like this. Gentlemen, how do you feel about a lady shooting her shot? And ladies, would you do it? So it was a two-part question, excuse me, aimed at gaining insight on this whole question of shooting their shot. Who's responsible? Whose responsibility is it? Is it the man's? Is it a lady? And how do men feel about it? How do ladies feel about it? Would ladies actually do it? And how would a man feel about a lady doing it? And so the backstory is I was in New York some time ago, earlier on in the month, and a gentleman asked a group of us, we were about 5, 6 ladies. He asked us, why is it that ladies, you always expect a man to be the one to be the initiator of a relationship, for him to be the one who's the first to be forthcoming with his feelings, one who's first to shoot their shot? Why don't y'all ever do it? And so most of us were like, because it is a man thing, like it is your responsibility. What do you mean? Why should we not do it? I was actually shocked that he asked. I was like, I thought like, ain't you African? Anywho, basically, a week later, a friend of mine sent me a screenshot that basically supported my stand on this whole issue. And I will say my stand is this. I personally like it when a man is forthcoming about his intentions for me. If he is interested, I like it if he is forthcoming about it. And I will say that, to be honest, that's the strongest and easiest way for me to even take you seriously, especially when it comes to like us taking things to the next level. I have always just believed that a guy should be the initiator of a relationship, and I've just always kind of like left it for the man to do that aspect of the relationship, to do that much, especially at the beginning of a relationship, to chase me down, like put in work. And so I wanted to see what other men thought about this, if they felt the same way as my friend did. And I will say this: 9 out of 10 of the men who responded to my question agree with the gentleman, and they're basically agreeing to being okay and finding it a beautiful thing, a woman shooting her shot. And guys, when I tell you I was shocked, I was flabbergasted. That's like the best word to describe how I felt about this. I was like, what do you mean y'all don't mind it? Like, explain. Like, are you trying to tell me that the reason as why we don't have meaningful relationships out there is because y'all expecting ladies to be shooting their shot? Like, you mean to tell me out of all the ladies that are not as single, the singleness that they're currently in is because they're not shooting their shot? And they explained further, and this is what they said: a woman shooting their shot is an expression of intelligence, independence, an expression of self-worth, an expression of braveness. Like, I was like, what? Like, you mean to tell me a woman shooting her shot means that she is brave? I was like, wow, interesting. And so I asked the ladies, I was like, ladies, would y'all do it? Like, because the men are out here saying that they want us to do it. Would y'all do it? And 6 out of 10 were like, no, we would not do it. And the reasons being this: a large group of the ladies that I approached were of African descent, and most of their upbringing had been from back home. And so they said that a lot of the traditional men, and that is a great number of the men that we know, do not find it funny when a woman is forthcoming. They do not find it funny when a lady is direct about how she feels about them. They say that they have seen that men who were approached by ladies and they actually went into a relationship with them became comfortable, they became lazy, that they were passive in the relationship. And so they were like, we don't want that to be the end result. And so we're just going to leave that for them to do, because ultimately we all want longevity, like we want long-term commitment. Nobody wants to date and dip like 6 months later. That's not what we're here for. It's 2018. No, ma'am. We're here for longevity. We're here for commitment. We're here for seriousness, for active men. Okay, we're here for active men who take charge, and men who put forth work. And so if me shooting a shot as a woman may ultimately result in passivity, comfort, lack of effort, short-term commitment, then no, I'm not shooting my shot, because I don't want that to be the end result. And so the 4 out of 10 said that they do not mind asking a guy out on a date, but they will not ask the guy to be, well, let me say 3 out of the remainder. There's always a 1% who are like, oh yes, I'm an independent woman, I will ask you to be my boyfriend. But the remainder of the 3, they were like, I'll ask you out on a date, but I will not ask you, I will not be the one who initiates the beginning of exclusiveness in our relationship. And to be honest with you guys, I fall under the 3 out of the 10 who are saying, I will not ask you, I will not be the one who initiates the exclusiveness, but I will ask you out on a date. And so I asked the 3 out of 10 to expound on why they would do that. And they said, me initiating a date and me asking you to spend personal time with me is me trying to seek out information. I'm trying to gauge your personality because I'm interested. And before this interest forms into a liking, I want to know, who are you? What are your parents like? Do you bathe every day? How do you treat women? How do you feel about feminism? How do you feel about gender roles? I'm trying to gauge who you are. Where do you stand with God? Are you serious about your spirituality, or do you do devotion once a month? How do you feel about certain things? I'm trying to know, what are your core values? How do you feel about politics? How do you feel about education? Do you want children? And so I'm just trying, the ladies who would ask you on a date, they're just trying to find out information before they invest their feelings in you. And which personally I advocate for this, ladies. And let me just speak to ladies first. I advocate for you to be forthright in order to find out more information on a guy. Formulate a friendship with the individual, and shooting your shot doesn't necessarily have to end in a relationship. It can end in a friendship. A relationship doesn't necessarily have to be exclusiveness. You can be friends, and you would have gained a friend who you're comfortable around, who you share values, you can see eye to eye on things. So shooting your shot doesn't necessarily mean the beginning of a exclusive relationship. So don't be afraid to shoot your shot because you don't want the relationship to start off on your say, on your actions. And so I will say that I was shocked. I was I gained insight that is very valuable. I had this 18-year-old say to me that, Michelle, it does not matter if you are the one who initiates a relationship or if I am the one who initiates a relationship, if at the end we are in a relationship with each other. And that was like, I was like, wisdom. And that's the truth, guys. To be honest, this issue of shooting your shot, yes, it may weigh heavily on who you are as a person, but if you look at it from a larger picture, like if you are able to just step back and see the broad aspect of things, if the end result is a positive thing, one, you gain a friend, or two, you gain a friend and you get a spouse, then what does it matter if he started it or you started it, if you're both in it together? And so let us talk about this issue of chasing real quick before we go forward. I had to gain some definition in what chasing meant and how guys perceived it and how ladies perceived it. And so for the gentlemen, what I gained was chasing for them is every effort to progress the relationship into exclusiveness. And so most men said, in as much as we are expected to do the chasing, it should be a mutual effort. And I agree, because if I am interested in a man, and we have expressed our interest to each other and we are working towards exclusiveness, I don't see a reason why I will not make him know that I want that he's wanted. And ladies, the truth is, we enjoy being made to feel as if we are wanted. We enjoy being prioritized. So, if we enjoy it, what makes you think that the guy that you're interested in will not enjoy it as well? And so, when it comes to chasing, I'm not talking about some imbalanced I'm not talking about imbalance. I'm talking about balance, there being mutuality. Both of you putting forth effort to progress the relationship further. And so both of you guys, ladies and gentlemen, need to be key participants in the chasing aspect of a relationship, because you're both trying to achieve the same end result. Text back, initiate conversations, initiate phone calls, initiate dates. Take the time to compliment each other. Most ladies just assume that men don't want to be complimented. I say, it is going to make his head too big. Oh yeah, no. Compliment the man. If he's lost weight, let them know. If he has gained muscle, let him know. If he's making positive strides towards his spiritual life, his education, his career, make him know. Compliment him. Acknowledge his effort. Acknowledge his work. It feels nice, because as a lady, once you get your hair done and a guy notices it, man, I'm on cloud nine. Like, you pay attention, you notice that my eyebrow is on flick, that my contour is on point, that I have gained growth in my spiritual work, and that you acknowledge my efforts as I work towards a career. What? Like, I enjoy it. It feels good to walk in and a guy is like, you look beautiful today. It feels great. And so I'm telling you guys are out here talking about something. We want to be complimented more. We also want to be chased. So ladies, chase your man. Make him feel make him feel wanted. And then lastly, I have notes. Let me see. Vagueness. Let's talk about vagueness, and then I promise I'll close. It's becoming a little too long. I asked one of my good friends, I asked him, do you feel as if ladies are vague with their do you feel as if ladies are vague? Sorry, my sister is calling me. Do you feel as if ladies are vague with their feelings and their emotions? And they said, this guy was like, it struck a nerve. He was like, yes, I feel as if ladies are so vague with their emotions and so vague with expressing how they feel, and they be out here, leading us on only for them to turn us off. And so I asked him, how can a lady avoid vagueness? And I asked ladies as well. I was like, how do you avoid being vague? And so I will say this. The lady, one of my girlfriends responded, and she said, how I avoid being vague. And I advise you all to do this. My words and my actions match up. If I like a guy, my actions will reiterate that. And if I don't like you, trust me, my actions will reiterate that. What you want to do as an individual is avoid confusion. We ain't got time for that, y'all. It's 2018. Like, Who got the time? Nobody. Be upfront. Let let your actions and your words say the same thing. Let them be congruent. If you like a person, act on it. If you don't like them, set up boundaries to make them known that you don't like them. Let them know you don't like them. Let them know you're not interested, especially if they've expressed their interest in you. Let them know that you're not interested and that you just want a friendship or nothing at all. Secondly, if oh sorry, I lost my train of thought. If a guy, and this goes to the guy as well, if you know that you're not pursuing longevity with a lady, then I urge you all to just cut off the flirting, cut off the extra sweetness. Just cut it off. We don't want to be vague. We don't want to be confusing. We don't want to be sending mixed signals. We're not here for that. Christ is coming back soon. We're all trying to get cuffed. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's avoid vagueness and confusion. And I will close with this. Times have changed, and we are not living in a world where men go to the market, see a woman, and carry her home. And this is a real story, y'all. Like some traditions back in Kenya, how people used to get wives, they would go to the marketplace, and if they saw a fan girl walking by, literally they will carry you on their shoulder and take you back to their home, and just like that, you're his wife. Times have definitely changed. Ladies, we have to be up, like we just have to be more outspoken. Now, I'm not saying walk out with a microphone, announcements. I like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, let your actions and your words match up. Be forthright, be forthcoming, make the guy feel wanted. There's a scarcity of that going around. And gentlemen, be intentional. There's a lack of intentionality out there. If you like a girl, go forth and be intentional about it. Put forth the effort to know this girl. Don't be leaving her out here hanging, but yet you're still telling her she's the tomato in your pepper soup. No, don't do that. We're not here for that, y'all. So I hope this information helped. If you want to keep the conversation going, hit me up and we can talk more in depth about this. I'm not able to go into all details of what I learned from this, but I am able to provide a summary. So I hope y'all learned something. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope that by the end of this year, I shall be hearing some positive feedback about shooting your shot, intentionality, lack of confusion, because hey, God has done it for us by providing this conversation to even happen. So we are not trying to go backward, we're trying to strive forward. So good luck to y'all, and I will see y'all on the flip side.